Hi, I'm Dr. Z. Welcome to Inspirations for Life. Greetings of light, love, peace, and harmony. Welcome to 2009. We've got a new administration. This is a big time of change and transition. I want to talk a little bit about responsibility because I believe there's a new spirit in the air today. And I believe that that spirit has to do with self-responsibility. You know, all of us can be better in this change if we will step up to the challenge to take responsibilities to improve our lives and improve the lives of those that we come in contact with. And this notion of responsibility is a spiritual value. And when you break down this word, you see a couple of words within the frame of responsibility. The first part of it says respond. Respond, give a response. And the second is the ability to respond creatively, the ability to do something that is different and constructive and expands and moves towards perfection beyond what you used to do. And taking responsibility can be a challenge because it requires you to get outside of your comfort zone. You know, we'd like things to stay as they are, yet life tends to require that we make changes sometimes. We have to make changes, and this is the time of change. The new president, Obama, can't do it all by himself. Each of us need to take the responsibility to move life forward, to advance life in a very highly constructive way. So, how can we do that? Well, we first must ask the question, how can I serve? In fact, have enough courage to face up to yourself and figure out where you are right now in relation to all of your life areas. Because responsibility is not just taking responsibility for your career. You also must decide if you're willing to take responsibility for your financial situation. Is one willing to take responsibility for their spiritual development, their mental development, their physical development? Take responsibility for your family development and for society and for your community. And respond creatively to make improvements. And if you're willing to do that and look and say, where's my life not working quite like I want it to? And what are some things that I can do and become to improve that aspect of my life? You know, a lot of people, they want everyone else to change. If I could just get my coworkers to change, if I could just get my manager to be different, if I could just change my spouse. And in reality, you can't change anyone. You can't make anyone do anything. People do what they want to do. However, if you decide to take the responsibility to change yourself, to improve yourself, then guess what will happen? Everything in your life will then improve. As you take the responsibility to improve you, the people around you will improve. Your coworkers will improve. That person that you perceive as a difficult person will improve once you improve yourself. Once you change your thoughts, change your feelings, change your perception. Things aren't all bad. In fact, everything is good. It's just that we choose how we want to qualify the energy of what shows up in our life. That is a choice. One has to decide to take the responsibility of choice, to look at what kind of choices am I making in terms of my diet? What kind of choices am I making in terms of my exercise, if you're looking at the physical aspect of your life? What kind of choices am I making in terms of what I put into my mind? If all you put in your mind is negativity constantly every day, in and out, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to show up as a reaction to what you are eating mentally or physically? So take a look at your life. Where is there some dissatisfaction or maybe even some pain? Because that is here, those experiences have arrived to teach you, to help you to grow. And if you accept the responsibility of life, then you can in fact meet your life situations and make some improvements. Life is a responsibility. And the responsibility of life is to serve it with gratitude, to serve it with full love, energy, to serve it with your full capacity to advance life to perfection, as perfect as that can be. Of course, we can have a good discussion about whether things are perfect or not, yet one perspective is to say that this moment is perfect as it is. When a rose is a bud, isn't it perfect in that stage of its development as a bud? When a rose blossoms and opens up and blooms, isn't it perfect in that stage of life as a blooming rose with its sweet fragrance and smell? Could you smell the rose with me? Come on, let's smell the rose. It's perfect. And then when that rose begins to wither before it dies on the vine, it's perfect in that stage as well. So life can be perfect in the stages that it's in. And we offer you to consider that your life is perfect in these stages, and everything is driving and encouraging you to take responsibility for your life. And as we use the analogy of the rose, let's smell our roses while we're on this side of life. And let's also give roses and help others to smell the roses while we're on this side of life. Take responsibility. Use your ability to respond creatively to advance life and to expand and move forward to greater and greater perfection. I thank you. I am Dr. Z. Peace.